Happy Sunday, guys. I hope you're all having a great weekend. So, it's a time of the week where we go through the watch list and I'll show you what I'm looking at for the week ahead. So, just before we get started, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a dressing gown and why it's dark, well, it's because I've been banished, I've been exiled into the office. It's my birthday tomorrow, so my girlfriend is decorating the house. So, I thought now would be a great time. So, it's actually Saturday night for me. Um, but yeah, anyway, we can move on. So, not that much on the watch list this week. Now, if we look at what we've actually got, it's primarily Australian dollar and gold. And the reason is because I've been saying this for a while now. The Australian dollar is very, very strong. It's actually one of the strongest currencies at the moment. It's performing the best, and it's providing some of the best trends, excluding JPY. So it makes sense to start looking for some more positions on here. We didn't really see much of a pullback on the Aussie dollar pairs really last week. So I'm looking for some today. Well, this week, not today. But yeah, anyway, so Australia and New Zealand looks very, very nice. So if we look on the weekly chart, we can see we've got this huge level of resistance through here at essentially 1.1, actually, or 1.1. Really nice psych level here. And obviously we can see this level's been respected in the past a lot. So essentially what I'm looking for here is a break above. Obviously, retest. If you guys know my strategy, you'll know I like a break and retest. So this is ideal, but of course this is the weekly time frame, so it wouldn't make much sense to really try and trade this right there. So really, there's two ways to go about something like this, or two ways I would go about this. We could either wait for a longer term position, and by doing that, I would need to see quite a large pullback on sort of the H4 to this sort of 50% pullback or this fib golden zone level. And I'm not saying this won't happen. This isn't too far away from the current price level. The 200 EMA is coming up. The RSI isn't quite oversold yet. So it wouldn't be a surprise if we do see a further pullback. And then if we get this move, of course, we'll start heading to the upside, or I'll start trying to trade it to the upside. In terms of a target, you've got two options, really. You could either look to take it back to these previous highs at this level of the weekly resistance, which I'm not really looking for, to be honest. I would be more than happy to look at this left side, and we look at this sort of really strong move to the upside we had, and then this huge push to the downside. I'd be looking for a move into this zone. Now, exactly where is a little bit of a tricky question, because it wouldn't be too much of an issue. Wouldn't be too much of an issue if we saw price come back to this high to form a double top. However, that would require us to sit in this trade for a very long time, and I'm not willing to allocate that type of exposure of my portfolio. So realistically, I'd be happy to trade it sort of up to around here. And this is roughly 50% of this candle. Let's just see. Yeah, so just under 50% of this bearish candle we had. So I think this makes sense. And again, if you wanted to trade it just to sort of this other high around here, so the resistance, we could for sure. We'd need a much tighter stop just to make the risk reward worth it, but you could easily guess a 1 to 2 in there. But yeah, I'm looking for something a bit larger with a larger stop loss just to allow for price fluctuations, possible ranges, news, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, this would make sense to me to go for something like this, and we could quite easily, depending on the stop level, get a 1 to 3, even a 1 to 4 or 5 if this works out as planned. But yeah, we'll have to see. So the Edge Finder is very bullish on this one. So if I just pull up the Australian New Zealand on here, so I'll show you all the data as we go along, so you can keep up and you can sort of visualize why I want to take these trades a little bit more, other than just the technicals. So if we look here, the overall score is 9, so it's marked as very bullish. So already looks very, very good to trade. Retail is 91% short and 9% long. This is quite rare to see, actually. such a small amount of retail is going in the direction that the market is. Normally they are against the trend, so it's not uncommon to see it underbalanced like this. However, just 9% long you don't see that too often. It's kind of crazy. We have seasonality of 0.17% bullish, retail sentiment, trend, inflation, services PMI, employment change, and unemployment rate are all in our favor. The only negative thing for this really is the GDP, but that's not too much of an issue. We also have the hawkish RBA in our favor, so this does look like a very, very strong trade if we can get in, because, like I said, we've not had too many chances of a pullback. So we look on the hourly time frame, this 50 EMA has just been holding, and I like to wait for prices to sort of come down to this 200. So this would have been a great entry. Obviously, this was market open, so realistically, I wouldn't have entered here or couldn't enter here anyway. But in hindsight, technically, this would have been a great time to enter. So I'm looking for something relatively similar. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. And of course, all these trades, any trade I do take, any trades my team takes are always taken and sent in the Discord for our members with full analysis and reasoning, stops, entries, and take profits. So moving on, we have gold. Now, if any of you guys watch my content regularly, you'll know I speak a lot about gold. I do really like gold. I do see it moving higher. The problem we've had is it's been stuck. And this is what's called no man's land, where we have price ranging. Sort of, you can see we formed really strong support on the daily, strong resistance on the weekly at all-time highs. And since then, it's kind of just been moving in this range. And of course, this is a daily range, so you could definitely have taken some day trades and scalps in here. However, I'm a trend trader, so regardless of the scalps and day trades that could have been done, I still need to see a prevailing trend. And at the moment, I didn't see one here, really. However, now we have seen, this was, I think it was ISM and NFP. Or was it ADP? I can't remember off the top of my head right now, but there was negative news for the dollar, which obviously caused a huge reaction here off this trend line, and then we continued up. I think this was ISM, then NFP came out and continued this move to the upside. And of course, we've broken up above this trend line. We've also broken above this level of resistance that price was getting stuck on previously. So you can see I've got an alert set. And I'm actually just going to adjust this to here. So I'm not looking to trade gold. So for anyone in the Discord, you'll know that we're in this silver position. This is a long-term trade that we're in. And it's moving very nicely. It's, again, for the long term, it's not a day trade. So I'm not looking to get into gold for also a long-term play, because I think that would be overexposure in my book, because obviously it's two relatively related commodities that move in a very similar way. So to mitigate that type of risk, what I want to do is look for day trades on gold rather than going for long-term things. So I'm looking now again for this break and retest. I'm looking for this initial move of the NFP to get corrected, whether it comes down to sort of around this level or roughly in this sort of area. Wait for a bullish engulfer and then a continuation up. So what I would do with gold, it's very, very precarious because we are stuck on this level of resistance. You can see we've not broken out yet, and like I said, we've been stuck in this range. But I do still see gold as a bullish asset. There is no economic reason or any sort of fundamental reason that gold couldn't go higher. So for that reason, I'm not going to have a take profits on gold. Now, I would do more of a trailing stop method. So as price increases, so for example, if price comes up to the previous high, I would very aggressively trail my stop to maybe 1 to 1.5% profit, whatever sees fit at the time, and then just squeeze price, allowing it to move up while also securing profits on the way, rather than having just a set take profit. Because what I don't want to do is get out of the trade like here, for example, and while it is a good return to get, it would be very sad to get 2.5 when if we come up to sort of the 2,500 level, we could get a much larger risk to reward and a much larger gain. So that would be my idea for gold. But again, it really depends on how the market moves, because we could get a deeper pullback to correct this move down here, or even potentially here, because I think this was ISM or PMI or something. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a long Saturday. It's now 9 p.m, so I'm a little bit sleepy. But yeah, these moves on gold were essentially just news. So it is possible we get a correction of that back down to support. However, I don't think that's very likely. As for the edge finder data on gold, we can pull that one up. So this is, again, very bullish. I think it's actually the most bullish reading on the edge finder at the moment, with a score of 12. So we've got COT in our favor, which is obviously large market participants or institutions. We've got seasonality in our favor, trend reading, inflation, interest rates, services PMI, manufacturing PMI, retail sales, and unemployment rate. So very strong. You can see COT data is 88% long and just 12% short. So yeah, it's a very nice position to be in if you can get that entry, because it would be very simple to get chopped up in all of this. We could just simply continue this range and that would wipe you out. So you've got to be very careful. Moving forwards onto the Australian US dollar, again, because we've got a very strong Australian dollar, we're looking to take this to the upside. We did form a really nice level of resistance here, and in hindsight, it would have been perfect to enter off this sort of level of support, but I just didn't notice it at the time, unfortunately. However, now it's got my attention when it's a little bit late, so I'm looking to get some sort of entry somewhere. Again, I'm not really too interested in where exactly. So let's just see. Yeah, so we do have this golden zone. Actually, let me delete this so it's a bit more clear. We do have a golden zone here that lines up quite nicely with these highs. And then we also have a second sort of resistance not far after right here. So it wouldn't be necessarily a bad idea to target potentially the first level of resistance. So here, a stop loss underneath, and then a target potentially up here. This would make the most sense to me. And what we could do, depending on how the market reacts, we could just tighten the stops up at the time. And again, we'd be looking for this previous sort of weekly high up here at roughly the 0.68 level. Or 0.685 level. So again, I'll show you the what's it called, the edge finder data. So right here we can see the COT data in our favor, retail sentiment, blah blah. It's all looking very healthy. Retail is 28% long, so again, they're really trying to trade against the trend, which I always find amusing, because trading the trend is probably the easiest way to trade, and they just seem to not want to do that. So next one is the Australian dollar against the Canadian dollar. So I actually haven't done my analysis on this one yet. I know I want to go long. So let's just take a quick look together. Looking at this, it seems quite clear we have this level of resistance that came back down and was tested during NFP. But overall, there's not much here technically to really use. If we want to count the current candle or Friday's candle as, the high, if you will, then this fib level works out really well. But because, this candle could just, the next candle on market open could just continue to the upside and completely invalidate this fib. It's not that useful really at the moment. So, this trade is more of a theory at the moment, because I don't have a set entry level, because there's not much to go from using my strategy anyway. So yeah, this is more a case of I'm sat watching the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, waiting for an entry, rather than having sort of a set idea for an entry. I'm just waiting to see how it moves and see what it presents. Now, this one is probably my most favorite trade at the moment, which is the pound Australian dollar. So some of you may know I'm a perma bear on the pound, and I have been for quite some time now. I won't go into that this video. If you guys want to have some more information on why I'm very bearish on the pound, I definitely can do that. But yeah, if we look here, of course, we've got very strong Australian dollar. We do also have some possible investor hope coming into the market. So Labour was elected. So Labour is now the new government in the UK, which in theory is a good thing because they could fix Brexit trade deals, and the general cost of living crisis could be eased potentially. Now that's not something I actually do see will happen. I don't really see it possible. I think things in the UK will get a lot worse, but again, I'll go into that in another video if you guys want. So yeah, definitely looking to take a short position on this, regardless of the political situation here. I think the Labour sort of vote, and that was strange. My camera just cut out. But yeah, what I was saying, the Labour government was forecasted to be sort of voted in anyway. It's expected by many market participants, especially the large ones. So it wasn't a shock when they were elected. So the reaction was minimal. And I don't think it will really affect the markets too much going forwards. So my stance on the pound bearishness remains as it is. So yeah, main thing is this level of support through here. We also have this really nice downtrend here that's been respected. So it's a trend line here. So I'm looking to enter almost immediately this week. So possibly Monday morning to Tuesday, I'll be looking to take this position short. Now, I'm not really looking to use a fib or any technicals, really just very basic support resistance and just paying attention to this 200 moving average. And the reason is because I really like this trade and it fits in with my bias very well. So if I pull up the edge finder for this one, just give me 1 second. Let me find it. Here. So it's not reading as very bearish or anything really. It has got a bearish reading, but it's definitely not as strong as I would like. You can see inflation, GDP, and interest rates are still in favor of the pound. So that's something to be cautious of. However, it's not going to sway me from this trade. And I think this is where I'll start testing the waters with my bearish thesis on the pound. So I'm looking to take it down to these previous lows down here, just to the sort of support level. In terms of stop loss, I'm a little bit undecided, if I'm honest. I could go conservative and go around here, which isn't bad. When I say conservative, it's not that bad. We get just under a 3% reward if we do hit our take profit. And this would account for this 200 moving average as well. So I think I will do this. But there are also other possibilities, lowering it slightly, just to sort of the nearest highs. And this would be more of an aggressive trade. And obviously there is a higher chance of being stopped out. So we'll see. But yeah, more than likely I'll go around here to give us that sort of 1 to 3 R&R, which is still very good. But yeah, that's it for this week. There's nothing too crazy. I am also looking at a NASDAQ trade potentially. However, it's not quite there yet, and I'm not ready to sort of pitch that one to you guys. So maybe that one will be in the next week's video. But yeah, guys, don't forget, again, all these trades that I take are sent to the Discord. We send bank reports. I can pull it up for you here. So every day we send bank reports. These aren't accessible to the public. We send trade ideas. You can see here we always send updates, pictures, entry level, stop loss, trade thesis, all sorts of stuff. We've got a community chat here. So yeah, guys, I will see you later. Click the first link in the description if you want to join the Discord, and I will see you very soon. Have a great trading week. Please don't lose money.